The Lightning Thief is the first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan, narrated by in the audiobook. Okay, so I have to admit that when I first heard about Percy Jackson, I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, not another Chosen One story. But then I gave it a chance and fell in love with it. Now he's a 12-year-old kid who feels like a bit of a loser. He's dyslexic and has ADHD, which means school is really hard. His mother left him when he was little to go with some guy whose name was Paul, and now his stepfather treats him like a bastard. So yeah, life's tough, and it can only be destroyed by magic. Speaking of magic, Percy has a power called water manipulation. He doesn't have much time to enjoy it, because Luke, the son of Hermes, accuses him of stealing Zeus's lightning bolt. If that's true, then Percy will start a war between the gods, and he'll be in the middle of it. So he's got exactly 10 days to find the bolt and bring it back to Olympus before everybody goes to war. And yes, Olympus is in New York. He was expecting Luke, which is unfortunate for poor Luke because Zeus blasts him with lightning and sends him flying into the river Styx. Awkward. But Percy grabs the bolt, throws it to Annabeth, who gives it to a nearby centaur to deliver to Olympus, then heads home. You know, he does all this without even getting a thank you. It's like, I guess being a demigod isn't all that great. Like the entire mountain was transported to Manhattan, and he has a small moment of bonding with his dad before he has to leave again and go to school. And honestly, I wish this book would have ended here because the sequel, The Sea of Monsters, is so cringe. The writing is terrible, the characters are stupid, and I hate it. So yeah, let's talk about that next. And you know, nobody noticed. But please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You can always request a video on the community page. Thank you for listening. Bye. I guess the gods just do what they want. Like he can make water come out of thin air. It's super helpful. But he can also control the weather to an extent, which is kind of terrifying. Like he accidentally causes a blizzard and freezes a bunch of people in their tracks. Whoops. He longs for something more though. Like there's this hole inside of him that nothing can fill. Secretly, he wishes he could be adopted by the fish guy at the local pet store. They travel across America, battling monsters the whole way. Like, remember Medusa? Yeah, well, she's here too. And Gorgon Medusa has snakes for hair and turns people to stone. But Annabeth knows a way to defeat her, which is to distract her, then stab her in the throat with a certain sword. And no, they don't use Van Helsing, but maybe they should. I feel like he'd be handy to have around, 'cause they seem to understand him better than anyone else. Like Dracena, Impuses, and Hellhounds, and escape the Lotus Casino, which slows down your perception of time. Who also thinks that Percy stole the lightning bolt. But really it was planted on him by Luke, you know, just to cause trouble. Of course, Percy defeats Ares, although that's mainly because the god of war is a chicken poop. Then they head to the entrance of hell and rescue the spirit of prophecy from a hellhound. Yeah, this is in Disney's Hercules. The spirit of prophecy tells them the bolt is in the hands of Titan Lord Kronos, who's risen from the dead and plans to overthrow Olympus. And the worst part is, he's using Luke as a pawn. And that's where they meet some old friends, Tyson and Clarice, who join them on their quest. Also, Annabeth and Percy almost kiss a few times, but then she stops him because she's afraid she'll fall in love with him. Which honestly sounds like a bigger problem than having to deliver a magical bolt to the God King. But okay, whatever. I thought that was funny. So let me tell you why. Naturally, Stepdad Paul complains the whole time. Calls Percy a loser and says that all he's good for is getting bad grades and ruining people's lives. Then, during the field trip, Percy's teacher, Miss Dodds, tries to grab him and change his mind about ignoring her. And that's when Percy realizes she's not actually his teacher, or even human, but some kind of monster. Yeah, welcome to the world of Greek mythology. The story is told from Percy's point of view. Then one day his mom decides to take him on a field trip with her class to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Luckily, one of the statues in the museum comes to life and saves Percy from Miss Dodds, who had transformed into a fury. The statue is actually Percy's best friend, Grover Underwood, who's a satyr. And he takes Percy away from the museum to Camp Half-Blood, where he meets all kinds of other kids who are also half-god, half-human demigods. There he learns that his real dad is Poseidon, god of the sea. That makes him a child of the Big Three, which is a big deal because years ago, the three most powerful gods, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, made a treaty not to have any more kids. Now this was because they were tired of how their kids kept starting wars among themselves. And besides, they had enough kids already. But of course, treaties don't mean anything in mythology, and this is pretty much the plot of Harry Potter. Oh, and also the Iliad. I mean, every story ever, really. Anyway, Percy finds out that he has this magical sword called Riptide, which is a gift from his dad. But while Percy's training to be a warrior at Camp Half-Blood, so Percy, along with his friends Annabeth, who's a daughter of Athena, and Grover, set off on their quest. Anyway, they face many other monsters, too. Anyway, the kids eventually reach the god Ares. So Percy figures he might as well just go to hell now, and retrieves the bolt from Kronos. But the God King wasn't expecting him. After arriving back at camp, he learns that his half-sister Thalia is going to become a hunter of Artemis. And for those of you who've stuck with me till the end, I appreciate it. I really do.